So Caitlin Clark got a hit to the eye in that game from Dejanay. And in fairness, she got Dejanay back. She got Dejanay back with a kind of elbow sort of thing, but the more I look at it, the more I'm like, there was no malice in there. Caitlin Clark meant it, but there was no real danger in there. Look, I can knock Dejanay Carrington's contact out. At the end of the day, an eye for an eye. Don't think either of them were right. I think both of them probably should have been given flagrant. When we're talking about the fairness of it all between the two of them, I guess you're gonna have to say it was even. But before we get on to it, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're so close to 36.4k. If we can hit that by the end of the day, that'd be insane. But we got to talk about Caitlin Clark and her obvious eye injury. But this is what she said after the game.
It got me pretty good in the eye. I don't think it affected me. Honestly, I felt like I got good shots. They just didn't go down, and obviously a tough time for that to happen. I got some really good looks. I felt I had three pretty wide open threes in the first half that you usually make. So that's tough, but I felt like I battled and tried my best. Took care of the ball better than I usually do, which is a positive. But overall, coach in the locker room.
Ironically enough, when it comes to Caitlin Clark taking care of the ball, she actually didn't really. She just had the ball in her hands less. I gotta stand by this. I don't think she took care of the ball very well. She just had the ball in her hands less than she normally does.
We're down 3 the first quarter, down 5 second quarter, and then lost by 3 in the third. We were right there, and I felt like we just played a crappy game. The flow of the game was really bad. I don't know if that was the referee, and that is probably partly us because we struggled to get stops at times, but also the clock getting messed up. It was just one thing after the next, but overall it didn't bother me. Obviously, it didn't feel too good when it happened, but it is what it is.
But it very clearly, the first comment at some point she needs to stick up for herself that it did indeed affect her. I also don't think she should say anything because the reality of it is she does say anything. She did get her back. That is the first time this year where Caitlin Clark realistically has gotten somebody back. So yeah, I can't really say anything because if she says anything, then everyone's going to be talking about basically her what she did to Dejanay, which again I hope Dejanay Carrington didn't intentionally do it, but at the same time, I think Dejanay Carrington intentionally got her. But I also think Caitlin Clark potentially got Dejanay. But you can see here, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect you. I don't think you can see her eye looks okay in general. And the best part is that people legitimately were saying Caitlin Clark didn't get touched. She just flopped. Or loads of people get poked in the eye all the time and they just stand up and get on with it. It's man, have you ever seen someone being poked in the eye? It is your natural instinct. Maybe not hitting the deck, but it's your natural instinct. And yeah, here's the thing from Caitlin Clark. Clark got her back. And I'm not going to say that was a flagrant. That is obviously a flagrant foul from Caitlin. That is obviously a flagrant. But at the same time, what Dejanay did was a flagrant. Again, they're both. It's an eye for an eye. It cancels everything out, I guess. An eye for an eye made both players blind, except Dejanay outperformed her. The reality of it is that she's talking about it, not really letting it affect her. Talking about getting good shots. That's what the problem is that it did affect her. You could see she was kind of almost scared to go to the basket. Caitlin Clark, we've never seen Caitlin Clark play a game where she shoots 4 2-pointers and 13 threes. She went 2 for 4 from 2. And we didn't even see her going to the basket. We didn't see her looking at going to the basket. In fairness, I think part of it was Chrissy Side's tactic. Caitlin Clark 2 turnovers, but then Kelsey Mitchell has 4. Her tactic of get the ball out of being so scared of turnovers, but it's something else. That's not necessarily an issue for her. It's more of a Sides issue. But yeah, I'll say it's not really it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world, the game. The eye injury clearly affected her. She's not going to give any excuses for that. But at the same time, look, they got game 2 on Wednesday. Game 2 is a big one. I don't think Indiana win game 2. I think maybe the refs are going to call it a bit tighter. I don't think it's going to be one of those rigged games, but I think maybe the refs are going to be like, well, this is getting ridiculous. Like, the way that game was refereed was ridiculous. The score table crap was ridiculous. The fact that Connecticut did everything they could to make the game last as long as possible, which is the right thing to do, by the way. Like, the Connecticut Sun were very good at the dark arts. And sometimes in the playoffs, especially when you're playing against a team like Indiana, whose job is they just want to run up and down. They want to get up and down with you. You're not going to outplay them. You're not going to outgun them. Maybe performing the dark arts to get them out of their rhythm is smart. Is like an objectively smart thing to do. And I think they played a near perfect game, whereas the Fever played a awful game. Caitlin Clark, I thought, was awful. I think their team was just bad on defense, every single one of them. I thought Aaliyah Boston had a mediocre game. I thought she just couldn't set a screen. But I thought she was okay as far as her shooting is concerned. I thought she started off really well. I thought she was terrible in the second half. I thought Kelsey Mitchell was terrible. I thought Caitlin Clark was terrible. Tammy Figbenley was terrible. I actually didn't think Melissa Smith was that bad when she played. Katie Lou Samuelson was terrible. Lexi Hall, brilliant in the first half. Absolutely brilliant, Lexi Hall in the first half. But, yeah. It's good to see, though, Caitlin Clark not going out there and not going out there and blaming her eye on anything because, well, obviously, like, it probably did affect her, but I don't think it affected her enough to have a game this badly. It might have affected her shot, but it was her own fault for shooting 13 threes on a black eye. So, yeah, you live and you learn. Look, these are young players. They're going to learn. And even if the Connecticut Sun do sweep them, which is a little bit disappointing, I didn't think that this was going to be I called it from the start, Connecticut win game 1, Indy win game 2 and 3. If Indiana can pull this one off, it'll be impressive. If not, Caitlin Clark's going to be better. Aaliyah Boston's going to be better next year. Kelsey Mitchell's going to be better next year. She's still not old enough that she's going to have a decline, and they're going to figure out each other's game, and other players are going to be gone. Melissa Smith is going to be gone. There's no chance Melissa Smith is there next year. Lexi Hull will be there. I don't know about Tammy Figbenley at this stage. Like, this roster needs an overhaul, and hopefully a playoff series win next year, and then going into the great reset with the 2 best players on rookie contracts potentially, and everyone wanting to come to you because they can get a max contract and still play with unbelievable players. But anyway, yeah, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.